Do you think we see Elizabeth Olsen in this show?
100%.
They're teasing her hard.
She might not be dead, right? Like, the magic of the Scarlet Witch means that her essence is alive, but her physical body might be destroyed, right?
Welcome back to the Break Room, a surprise Agatha All Along trailer before Comic-Con and before Deadpool and Wolverine. Now that's good eating. It's in the script. It's in the script.
No, it's not. I don't see it anywhere in that script.
It's the Monday headlines. Hit that graphic, baby.
Woo!
H-E-D-L-I-N-E-S. Okay. I literally haven't put that in the script.
Stop!
He Ron Burgundy me. I have to say it if it's in the prompter.
Ron Burgundy.
I Ron Burgundy him. I don't know.
Sometimes when I'm writing the script, I'm like, what would the host say in their voice? And Zach's always saying, "That's good eating."
That's crazy.
All the time.
That's crazy because he improvised. It says improvise. It's improvise, Zach.
I'm Zach Huddleston. Thrilled to be here on a Monday. Joining me, Brandon Barrick's here. There he is. And Jessica Clemons is here.
Is that what Brandon did? Like a freaking freak.
It's my first day waving.
Or I should have
You're bad at
said the gang's all here
The gang's on.
as a reference to the Agatha trailer.
Oh, I was thinking of SpongeBob. The gang's all here, and he's crying. Do you know what I'm talking about? I look at Evan all the time.
This one, I can't remember this
You're
one.
making me look stupid.
Brian, if you remember this one, Brian, put it in the edit.
The gang's all here.
I like that episode of SpongeBob where they both get stuck in the lab and there's like a fly and they're trying to kill it.
That's Breaking Bad.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, let's get right into the big news of the day. We got there was an early warning last night, right? Like they tweeted out that to expect an Agatha trailer today.
Who tweeted this out?
John posted it in the Slack.
Yeah, that was a rumor site, Zach.
Oh, it was a rumor site.
That was your early warning.
That's okay. It's
You need an early warning. Does that
I don't believe anything in the teleprompter or on Slack.
we get early warnings for tornadoes and trailer drops.
Hey, if you feel it, chase it.
Okay. So that triggered a phone tree that has led us to this trailer troll for Agatha All Along. We got a trailer troll graphic. Beautiful.
Good job.
Nice work. So we're going to go ahead and play the trailer now, react to it, and then we have a lot of things to talk about. So again, start putting put comments in the chat. Evan will be accumulating some of those. We'll try to answer as many as we can later in the episode. But we're excited to watch this trailer. Yeah,
Also,
that
I
looks
like
like
that.
her there.
I like that Wiccan has his little headband.
He's not Wiccan, or we don't
Well,
know.
that's
He has the
something
Wiccan headband.
We're going to talk about that.
Lots of people wear headbands.
No.
Rambo wears a headband.
Before we discuss, let's also read the official synopsis of the series that was released at the same time as the trailer. The infamous Agatha Harkness finds herself down and out of power after a suspicious goth teen helps break her free from a distorted spell. Do you really need both suspicious and goth?
Damn.
Anyways, her interest is piqued when he begs her to take him to the legendary Witch's Road, a magical gauntlet of trials that, if survived, rewards a witch with what they're missing. Together, Agatha and this mysterious teen pull together a desperate coven and set off down the road.
Oh.
Love it. I love mysterious goth teen. Also, I don't know that Joe Locke is being styled super goth. I mean, if you're going to call somebody goth, I need all black. I need nails. I need eyeliner. I want full-blown goth.
There's a difference in goths.
Okay, I know. It contains
tiers.
multitudes, but anyways, that's where my mind goes. Okay, so initial thoughts on trailer and or description.
I mean, very interesting, fun, stylistic, strange, some weirdly scary shots in it.
Yeah,
like that
you're definitely-
demon thing with no lips or whatever, and very mysterious. Yeah, I mean, it's a classic teaser, not giving away a ton, but fun to see some returning characters, some new characters. I mean, I'm very interested in it. Oh. Intrigued.
Brad Winderbaum.
Uh-huh.
Brad Winderbaum. Are we going to talk more about what we saw in the trailer later?
Yeah, we're going to go through some specific stuff, especially around the whole Wanda Maximoff of it all, and or the Billy Maximoff that may or may not be in it. But yeah, anything other than that?
Yeah.
that stood
I
out to
loved
you?
it. I love it. I love witchy, horror, supernatural, anything. And no better way to do it than with like the 5 greatest women in television and stage for me. Aubrey Plaza is having a lot of fun. Looks like there's gonna be some improv, which I'm here for. And yeah, I'm so excited. That trailer was amazing. I watched it like 5 times.
It contains so much. I mean, kind of like WandaVision, where we had all those styles squished together. Like, this also has, I mean, Stranger Things kind of vibes in certain parts. Very campy Wizard of Oz, Bewitched kind of energy in others. Like, you know, martial arts fight scenes in others. Like, it's got a lot going on.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it'll be, because it seems like they're not trying to tie it too much to WandaVision. You know, there's like little references to it, but it's not like they're trying to just make a season 2 of that show, right? This feels like it's supposed to be different. And I wonder if the different genres will be more, you know, for WandaVision, it was like, oh, this is kind of television through the generations, right? Through the decades. If this is going to be like, well, these are not so much like through the decades, or if it's just like different types of kind of suspenseful stories or, you know, dramas like that you would see on television, if it's kind of going through those styles.
Interesting. Because, yeah, it's so distinctly that kind of like prestige FBI detective drama look in that opening sequence. And of course, the agent that Kathryn Hahn's character walks up to is Herb from WandaVision, right? He played one of the next door neighbors who's also trapped in the hex, which makes you wonder, like, we think all the residents of Westview were released from the hex at the end of WandaVision, including Herb, but like somehow he's still in this vision. Does that mean that she's just imagining him there? Maybe he's been pulled back in? Or is that real life? Is Kathryn Hahn now living as a FBI agent somehow convincingly? What do you think?
I feel like, and this kind of goes back to what this kind of goes back to what Brandon said, that I do think it kind of does pick up right after WandaVision. I think it could. It makes sense if it does. Only because that means that she's under her spell where she thinks. I think giving her a cartoony living, just like Agatha kind of helped along the way with Wanda doing in WandaVision, I think she's doing it to her being like, oh, hey, you also have to deal with kind of a kooky existence. And that kooky existence is solving a mystery. So I think it's like the end of WandaVision, but it could also go along with what's going on in Multiverse of Madness, which shows like the blackened fingers, the crazy version of Wanda. But I also think they're going to still do, instead of being like different time periods of TV, it's going to be more campy horror.
Yeah.
Like they're going to show like, here's the long line of body horror to stupidity horror, like girls that, I think there were girls doing the Ouija board at a camp.
Like the craft or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
I have a feeling like the witches that she is going to bring into her coven are all going to bring like different styles of magic, or like how they interpret magic or how they access magic. And I bet all the, you know, we see her as her like 80s self and as like her 50s self like desaturated. I bet that's all like the first 2 episodes, right?
No,
and once she's out of Westview, like that gimmick is done, and then the gimmick of like how magic affects the world will kind of change the perspectives.
I thought it was them as a group trying to conjure up the portal to the Witch's Road, and they just could not do it. And one of them is like, here's a memory of you conjuring a demon when you were a child. Do you remember this? And she has to fight with it. I feel like that demon's in that same scene.
Yeah.
And then it possesses her.
The Wanda that put Agatha in this hex, right? She had just found out about the Scarlet Witch, the prophecy or whatever. She had just gotten her hands on like the Darkhold. She had just figured out like the rune thing. And then between that and, you know, Multiverse of Madness, she had time to like read the Darkhold on the astral plane and get powered up and be much more powerful. So I'm wondering if like the magic she used to kind of lock Agatha up is like sloppy. In a certain
Sloppy bad.
And, you know, she just kind of did it and didn't know what she was doing.
What if literally, right, like through WandaVision, especially those first couple episodes, we were jumping like decades, kind of, right? Like we went from like I Love Lucy up through like kind of Who's the Boss 80s and Roseanne like early 90s. But then we kind of stopped, right? Like, and then
it's like a Modern Family.
Yeah, early
2000s.
But like, could this be like, Gesundheit, the cutest little sneeze you'll ever see on stream.
I saw it.
And then what if this is like just the continuation? Like this is the like 2021 HBO.
She's in prestige television. Basic cable's taking over.
What if she's the Sherlock and Holmes, but the one that you don't like?
Oh, the British one?
Which is the better one? I don't understand. That's
You don't
so
like the
bad.
Benedict Cumberbatch?
No, I don't.
Yeah, we got to stay on task. There are two things in the trailer that we wanted to talk about more, and there are two things that seem straightforward but might not be as straightforward as they seem. So, early shot, Kathryn Hahn's looking at the toe tag that's all blank. All of a sudden, the magic reappearing ink comes in, and it says W. Maximoff. Not Wanda Maximoff, W. Maximoff. Some people, including our own John Costa, have pointed out that's, of course, the initials of Wanda Maximoff, also the initials of one of her children, William, a.k.a. Billy Maximoff, who some people have been theorizing, or it's been long theorized, that is who Joe Locke is playing in this show. Wiccan, the character Wiccan, a.k.a. Billy Maximoff, one of the two kind of conjured out of the ether children that Wanda has, who we saw portrayed by a much younger actor in WandaVision and in Multiverse of Madness. What are your thoughts?
Conjured out of thin air in the MCU 616, right? Like, that's like a big sticking point for Wanda, where she's constantly told that her kids aren't real, but she looked into a bunch of other multiverses and saw that they are real. It's just for whatever reason in this universe, she doesn't get to have them. So, yeah, I mean, it feels like he's playing Wiccan. I don't think that's like too much of a stretch. But are you saying that the toe tag could be for William Maximoff? It's like a dead William
Well,
Maximoff.
I think that's the other part of this, in that, like, they purposely, we see this body in multiple scenes. We never see the face, and the name of the body or whatever is never uttered, right? So it's like, I think we're kind of led to believe, both through the dirty fingers and, you know, canonically, is Wanda dead right now at the end of Multiverse of Madness? Is this kind of the way? And then Aubrey Plaza literally says, what, you're caught in that dead witch's spell?
Right.
Or she's gone now and you're still caught in her spell? Right, kind of hinting at Wanda, no longer with us, but you're still stuck in her spell, claw your way out. Like, is that symbolically or literally Wanda Maximoff's body?
I think it's still supposed to be. What was the date on the toe tag?
The
October
final one was
13th?
October 13th. No year given.
And we weren't really.
Also, toe tags, do they usually have multiple dates on them? It's not like a
weird.
library
just in
card.
case. It is. They do treat it like a library card.
they don't reuse
No,
no
and
tags.
this. The way that
You
they
died.
reuse it.
You died on August 1st. You died on September 19th.
This body was due back 2 weeks ago.
And it was supposed to be through WandaVision. We've gone through Halloween. I feel like if you have her toe tag, and maybe I'm just thinking too deep about it, I'm just like, this is a witch's show. So you have to put some sort of metaphor to why you chose that date. Why that date next to her body? She didn't die on October 13th if they went through all of Halloween. Inside of the vision that she was making.
Yes, because she didn't even like die in WandaVision, right? She leaves at the end and goes away and then does the events of Multiverse of Madness.
The whatever fantasy Wanda is dead. She's sad. She was like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna open the bubble and go to town on everybody.
Right.
And then Multiverse of Madness, when it started, was it October 13th? But I know that the anniversary in WandaVision was like August something, right? Or September. The heart.
Oh,
around
their
the date.
heart. It was August like 23rd or something like that.
I
was looking real quick at the dates.
Yeah.
I couldn't like find the biggest one was like December 28th, I think is one of the dates. Or December 22nd. It's like, that's Stanley's birthday.
No.
Oh,
It's one of the
I saw
days.
like January 21st, and I was like, not close to me.
Yeah.
Mine's January 10th.
Because I mean, she died during the blip and was resurrected when everyone
That's
came
why I'm
back
like, that
in,
October
May.
13th must signify something for her and not
Yeah.
really Billy.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I think they say Multiverse of Madness happens before No Way Home.
That's another question we were talking about.
Yeah.
Does this show take place immediately after WandaVision, but before Multiverse of Madness? Immediately after Multiverse of Madness? Now? Who knows? And maybe they bounce around. Maybe the show takes place over a longer length of time.
I think that's been a tough thing for Marvel with their projects lately because things have had to been moved and rescheduled. It's like the timeline is really muddy, and as the audience, we don't often know when things are taking place.
Yeah.
I think they're afraid to make those declarations in the projprojects because
Then if things get canceled or moved.
yeah.
I heard this takes place after Blade.
Shut up.
This is Blade. I heard this is Blade.
Oh, that's what a nice...
Honestly, this where Blade's just been hiding out on the Witch's Road this entire time. Somehow he got there.
Blade cameo. What do we
Yeah.
think?
I think
Ooh.
off screen you'll hear "Witch, please," and that's Mahershala Ali.
Racism. But also,
That's what he would say. He's asking for
put
the shirt.
Blade and Kathryn Hahn's character together. and I'm here for it.
That's fun.
I am
That's
very
fun.
here
That's
for it. I'd be so
That's
here
fun.
for it.
Well, and that kind of leads to another thing. I'd love to hear what people in the chat are saying, but like, we were speculating often with these teasers, 90% of the footage we see is like in the first 2 episodes of the show or something like that. Something we don't get a good sense of is like, who's the antagonist? Who's the villain, the bad guy? There's some hints that it's probably Aubrey Plaza's character, at least for part of this. There's kind of the quick shot of a fight scene between her and Kathryn Hahn. But like, is there somebody else at play? Is there a Mephisto? Is there a bigger demonic or witchcraft kind of force?
I think it's gonna end up just being Agatha. Not in like she's gonna terrorize everyone. I did mention this in my last like little theory on the image that was released by Empire, that all of these witches are alone and covens are big deals. So what made these what made all these witches be solo and alone? And I think it's because they all, like Agatha, have betrayed their coven. And and they even said, Jack Schaefer said in the Empire interview, how like it's gonna be a heartfelt story for Agatha. And so I was like, okay, by the end of her arc, she's gonna have to be a good guy. But she also mentioned that like these are selfish, mean, horrible witches. How are they gonna get along?
Yeah.
So I think the real enemy is like within themselves.
Yeah,
and they have to
especially
learn to be a unit.
Her origin story, as we've seen it, is her literally sucking the life juice out of all those witches, betraying her coven. Well, they kind of
They
betrayed
were trying
her.
to suck out her life juice.
To be
But
fair.
she was practicing dark magic.
Yes.
Hey.
Hands up.
I don't want to have an acolyte
Hands up.
conversation right now,
and-
okay? But the witches don't get to determine how magic is accessed.
But in theory, as far as we know, since that, like, whatever, 1490 or whatever, when
1693.
Okay, thank you.
Brandon said, I was there.
1490. Get out of here.
Just a couple hundred years off. Since then, she's not been a part of a coven, as far
Right.
as we know, right? She's been a solo witch. So for her to even team up is a big deal. And
John,
to
when
learn to
did you get the
her.
Darkhold?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
Doesn't matter. All Darkholds and all multiverses have been destroyed. That was the result of Multiverse of Madness. So let's not forget that. There's no Darkhold anywhere ever now.
Oh, good.
It's also interesting because she does show up in WandaVision, right, by herself. Agatha shows up in this hex and is like, hey, this was putting out so much Wi-Fi. I was getting a signal wherever I was, and I showed up by myself.
Yeah.
So in theory, if there are other witches out there in covens, someone was noticing what was going on, and no one else was showing up to deal with this. Because it had been going on for several days at that point.
Also, different types of witches.
Yeah, 100%.
right. Like Patti LuPone, we believe, based on has the same name as a Marvel character. That's like a 300-year-old Sicilian witch, but is like big into like tarot and like kind of a different type of witchcraft than what we've seen from Wanda or Agatha, right?
I was gonna agree with that because I was like, I don't think all their powers are as crazy as Agatha's are.
Right.
But I also think once they heard Agatha was going there, they're like, stay away from that witch. She's
Please.
crazy. She kills other witches.
Are we gonna get one of those like crystal witches that is like uses a lot of stones?
I was like, well, that's
put your quartz out in a full moon to charge it up.
Sasheer
kind of witch?
Sasheer said her character is different from the one in the comic books, her Jennifer character.
Okay.
So I was wondering, and from that outfit, I was like,
She's
she
like
looks
a
like
disco-
Well, I was thinking she looked like the Crystal Girl.
Or a crystal.
I was like,
lady.
she's the Crystal.
A real Silver Lake witch. A
It did feel like
Eagle Rock
I hope
witch.
she's like running like a shop, like she's
Yeah.
scamming.
Well, that's
like,
what Patti LuPone's-
dumb new age people.
That's what Patti LuPone's character is doing. I only
okay.
based that off the fact that she said she practices tarot as her character, and then in one of the trailers or the featurettes, we see the eye for a tarot reading center that you can go higher at. And I'm like, oh, when you get in that room, it's gonna be like crystals, rocks everywhere. I love that they're doing that. I'm like, yes, play with every form because Aubrey Plaza's character Rio is supposed to be like a green witch that like channels her energy through nature, and I'm like, go crazy. Get every form of witch. I know that season 3 of Ryan Murphy's show, what was that show?
Oh, American Horror Story.
American Horror Story Coven kind of already did a lot of it, but we can still do it.
Yeah, the Marvel version of that.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Real quick, with you talking about crystals and whatever, when we see that shot of those rocks that are kind of glowing,
Yeah.
what's up with that?
I took those to be like barrier stones or something. Like, you could probably put out
That's some
a
kind of
circle to create
forest
like a,
fairy magic, some kind of
Yeah,
vibes
yeah.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like a dad trying to understand their daughter. That's like,
What is-
no, Dad, you don't understand.
What are the rules here?
These rules don't make sense.
I roll a dice one.
Love it.
You said this red crystal could defeat you. Now that I have it, it can't.
That would be funny if the crystals do work on the Witch's Road. Sorry, Evan.
I do want to bring up Prince Riley Phoenix pointing out that the toe tag is actually a library card. or library.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, it
books.
looks like a
yeah,
library
because
card.
on the bottom it says Westview Branch Public Library.
Okay.
So it is multiple dates, which is interesting. You know what?
Well, it's also
The Darkholds checkout.
I mean,
Yeah.
it could be,
Oh my god.
maybe the Darkhold die on the 13th.
That'd be so funny
Once you destroy all the Darkholds.
if one person along the lines that had the Darkhold was like someone that was an avid reader and was like, okay, I put a fucking library stamp in here so I know who's taking and going.
Oh yeah.
or maybe it's Wong. You know what I mean?
It is Wong!
my God.
It is Wong!
He's the closest we have to a librarian
Yes, it
in
is.
the MCU, right?
It's Wong.
Dude, we
It's
cracked
wrong.
it.
Oh,
It's
do we
Wong.
see?
Tell
I
Eric
mean,
Voss.
legally obligated to appear in all Disney Marvel productions
the
as well.
Sorcerer Supreme now. It's whoever's running the library.
yeah.
Who's more likely to show up, Wong or Blade?
Ooh, Wong. for
Wong
sure.
now. Wong with that library card. like, that's kinda
Voice
fun.
only? Blade.
Yeah. Yeah, what did he say to Kit Harington at the end of the Eternals?
Let's everyone give their best guess on what Blade said at the end of the Eternals.
It was quick. It was.
I'll tell you what he said. He said, "I'll see you in 6 to 9 months."
Six,
That was a lie.
Did you say 6 to 9 or 6 to 9?
Hey, nice. Either way, it's wrong.
I'm done with you too.
What did Blade say at the end of Eternals?
Motherfuckers always trying to ice skate up
Yeah, there it is. Oh, I
Motherfuckers always
wish.
trying to ice skate
I
up.
wish.
Do you know, I read that straight interview with that director that was like, he just came up with it. Like, I did not write that in there. No one came up with he did that. And I'm like, it's the most stupid thing to say, but ooh, I'm gonna get it tattooed on me.
Trying to ice skate uphill.
Ice skate up.
Real quick, again, if you haven't already thrown this comment out there, do you think we see Elizabeth Olsen in this show?
100%.
They're teasing her hard. While you vote or comment or whatever, we want to shout out our friends at Mini Katana. Whew. There's nothing mini about this sword. Okay, this is full blown.
We should show them one of the mini.
Yeah, we do have a little mini katana. This is also not a katana. This is just a full blown Game of Thrones style medieval broadsword. They also make these cool kind of. It's like a desk katana. Something you can keep on your desk and not get asked to leave by security. They make all of these, and I mean, this is full size anime-ish katanas.
Standing back.
Look at
This
that.
is my anime katana that they made. They have different anime ones. They have a lot of Demon Slayers ones, and this is the Mitsuri one, which is my favorite character in Demon Slayer. And look at her.
look, it's beautiful.
Look at her.
So
You could cut your sandwich with it.
all of these products and more, they have fun katana pens that I use all the time at minikatana.com. Use code NewRockstars for 15% off whatever you're buying. Check it out. Good gifts there for the sword-loving folks in your life. Oh, yeah.
I love how quick this one is. Give me your money.
Real quick. And then we also want to shout out One Shot Energy. One Shot Energy chews are a healthy and convenient energy boosting candy for everybody. They make both caffeinated and non-caffeinated varieties. These are focus chews, which are actually non-caffeinated. They just have a lot of, they're tasty little chewy gummy things that have vitamins and minerals to help you focus during your day. Maybe you need a little pick-me-up, but you don't want to slam an energy drink or something like that. These are really nice. This one's kind of New Rockstars co-branded. We've got some generic superheroes on there in the New Rockstars colors. They also, generic, non-licensed, but they also, these are some of my favorites. These are voice drops. And these are, there's no caffeine in these either, but these are great if you talk a lot or you ever get kind of a sore or worn out throat. Maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you're a coach. Maybe you're a public speaker. Maybe you stream on Twitch.
Maybe people in your office keep doing things wrong and you constantly have to explain to them why they're doing things wrong.
John Costa.
John Costa.
He just dropped the sword.
But they make these and all kinds of other great products. We've been working with One Shot Energy for a long time. We use these products around the office. We're fans. It's also nice if they're energy fortified ones that have a little bit of caffeine in them. As if you don't feel like drinking an energy drink or another cup of coffee, you could pop one of those and get that little bit of caffeine boost to go about doing whatever you're doing. Work, fun, streaming, playing video games, anything like that. Go to oneshotenergy.com/newrockstars for 10% off your order. Try it out. See if you like it. We also have a lot of fans that have been that tried One Shot and keep purchasing more, right? Like they are recurring customers. That shows that they like it. It's a good product that they enjoy. So try out oneshotenergy.com/new rockstars. I'm gonna pop this voice drop so my voice doesn't drop.
Let's see it. No, I want your voice. I thought it would make your voice
Oh,
drop.
okay. That's a voice drop. Damn.
All right. Well, while Zach chews on that voice drop, I just want to jump back to an earlier topic. So I ran a poll in the chat. It's very interesting. Do we think 616 Wanda is currently alive in the MCU? 72% of the chat says yes.
6161?
616 Wanda. Yeah. Sorry.
Damn.
Yeah. Do we think she's alive? But then when I asked who do you think the body in the morgue is, 67% of the chat said Wanda.
Yeah.
It's just like
Which is
a
vision, right?
Not to be confused with.
Not to be confused with the Vision.
The Vision.
It's just a manifestation of something in Agatha's psyche.
Yeah, I also feel like Wanda is great at magic, but when you're also trying to capture a young woman across different multiverses at the same time, your power's getting like, eh. So if this does take place during Multiverse of Madness, it's like, hey, I skipped this glitch that's my dead body, and I'm sorry about that, but I'm too busy. I think I mentioned also in my breakdown, I was like, she said in Multiverse of Madness, it's the lies I can't keep up with. She was like, faking this world is easy, but the lies is where I get tripped. And I'm like, yeah, her lying about her death, she's tripping everybody.
Yeah, and like she might not be dead, right? Like the magic of the Scarlet Witch means that her essence is alive, but her physical body might be destroyed, right? And maybe that's what Agatha is sensing.
With that in mind, though, do you think that I love your point about her body potentially being like
Sure, because there was like a
gone.
flash of red, right?
But the essence. So, do you think that the goal here is that they're going to bring back Wanda's physical body or form for her, or what do you think they're working towards here? Interesting.
No, I think like Witch's Road when Wanda goes there and finds her mom from the past, it'll be like that for Joe Locke. I think Joe Locke knows that the Witch's Road is where he can find Wanda, and I feel like that storyline of like, hey, this is a version of her son, and he's like the only way I can like tap into my magic or tap into my mom is going on the Witch's Road.
Yeah. Let's pivot now to talk a little bit about. So there's a comic book storyline called The Witch's Road. Very different than how they seem to be portraying it here, but maybe there's some connections. So in that storyline, right, it's a very alive Wanda with the ghost of a dead Agatha and the ghost of her mother go down this witch's road. They encounter all kinds of bad stuff, and they're kind of there's problem with magic in the world that they're trying to fix. They eventually there's a physical embodiment of witchcraft called witchcraft, kind of like Eternity or these other Marvel characters where it's like, oh, it's the idea of witchcraft, but also it's a hot lady or whatever, that they eventually kind of free from these bad agents, and in the end, it basically resurrects Agatha, right? So could some of those roles be flipped? Maybe this is kind of like an alive Agatha with a ghost or a presence of Wanda, and maybe accompanied by somebody who might be Wanda's kind of real or created son, and maybe we get a resurrection of Wanda at the end of The Witch's Road?
I hope not. I hope not. I hope she stays in the Witch's Road and just owns it. It seems hard because I am like, yeah, I would genuinely though. I would like to see that, but then we also have 5 other witches that don't really have ties to Wanda, or just only know her as the Scarlet, or just know her as Wanda Maximoff, that girl that blew up that building in Africa. And so they're probably like, why is this girl on our team again? So I think it is just like, and there's this one scene where we see them all on broomsticks. So I think they're getting out of the Witch's Road eventually without Wanda. Wanda's just like a little monster that lives there. Her essence, her soul, or whatever. I think she'll come out eventually, but just not in Agatha.
Yeah, I don't know how much Wanda they want to do in this story. If it could be an interesting thing where if the essence of Wanda's alive, right, but her body is dead, and it's like this weird situation where they need to resurrect Wanda's body in order to get Agatha out of this hex or something like that. Like she's stuck in a weird catch-22 where oh, well, Wanda's not really dead, so the magic's not released fully and you're still stuck here. But because she's not here, we can't get you out either.
What if
so
she
maybe
just
that's because why would these other witches help
exactly
Agatha? What's Agatha doing,
But what if they just needed to just fight again, Agatha and Wanda, and in the Witch's Road, she has to like fight. That's why I think you kind of spoke on this. The Witch's Road is an amalgamation of all their fears, each
Right.
of them. Something's gonna come out for each of them, and I think in the past they did something to their coven, and that betrayal story will show up on the Witch's Road. So I want the end goal.
Like
of the
they're
Witch's
all
Road.
cursed in some different way.
And so I think they're all gonna get their own versions of demons, and Agatha's is
okay.
gonna be Wanda, and she has to defeat her to get her powers back.
Oh.
Yeah, to that exact point, I'm Donna Lynn in the chat saying maybe Wanda will become like Red Skull did on Vormir on the Witch's Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, some type of like symbolism. Yeah.
And that would be so cool because then we'd explore more of the Witch's Road, blow that world out, and
Yeah.
Agatha lives there, just how Loki is now taking over as the tree.
Oh.
I'm like, give me more storyline without telling me storyline.
Wait,
It helps.
Agatha becomes Loki on the tree, or Wanda?
I meant
becomes,
Wanda,
Oh, okay,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But like
interesting.
in the Witch's
In the
Road,
Witch's
yeah.
Road, like she will be the sorceress of the Witch's Road.
Got it. So
Because
what
the
do you-
Witch's Road's going to be inhabited sooner or later during Secret Wars. Too many
Yeah.
sorcerers and wizards are going to come and be like, help, I need help.
They're gonna use it as a little like transport dimension.
Yeah,
It'll just be like the
literally.
quantum realm in Endgame.
Oh, fun.
Literally.
Yeah.
So do you guys think in the summary it says if they survive this like trial or gauntlet of trials or whatever, they'll be rewarded with what they're missing? What do you think they're? Who is finding what they're missing, and what do you think that could be? Right.
Well, I like Jessica's idea that like each of them has betrayed a coven or something like that, and like to be cleansed of their witch sins, they need to kind of go through this. I mean, maybe the comic book storyline of like, what if like magic across the world is starting to like have problems to glitch out, and they all sense like their power leaking away. And if you're, 300-year-old Sicilian witch like Patti LuPone's playing, maybe it's like, oh no, if my magic dies off, I'm gonna quickly
I'm
age
done.
and die too, right? So they're kind of all in an act of self-preservation to keep their magic. They have to go fix the Witch's Road or whatever.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I joked about it earlier a little, but because Multiverse of Madness established that like all the Darkholds in every multiverse are like gone now. That's got to create some sort of problem. I would imagine there's like some sort of balance that has been thrown off by all of that happening.
Yeah.
And maybe it's that maybe some of these witches' intentions are more nefarious, and they're like, no, we need to recreate the Darkholds.
What's his name? Is Chthon? He's just like sitting in that
Chthon
castle.
or whatever.
Yeah, he's sitting in that castle like, who destroyed my fucking book?
Right. And maybe
So
that's
make it-
like the villain of this show is like Chthon or something, some sort of evil force.
They could tie it to Blade. Continue.
Mephisto?
Mephisto.
Is that his house?
It could be.
Could be Mephisto's house. I don't know. That's the rumor now is that Sacha Baron Cohen is playing a version of Mephisto, but that is in Ironheart.
Could it?
Mostly. But if they're introducing it here,
Yeah. We also have close-ups of
Okay.
these two kind of destinations. We can bring up.
Can you show me this one?
This felt like leading down the Witch's Road, right? Potentially. So
Okay.
there's a little house down there on the top. There's that big mansion in the bottom. What do you guys make of that?
Fun.
I think the
the
top,
top
is the
house,
cabin.
it's
that
very
they've
mid-century
been-
modern. I like it. I like the angles of the ceiling. I think it's like an open floor plan.
Is that a right house?
Huh?
Is that a right house?
Yeah,
it might be the right
Frank
house.
Lloyd Wright.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's running water, falling water, or whatever.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. I think that's the house where they were doing the Ouija board, where we're gonna see the demon that comes out of the Ouija board.
Well, and the landscape of that shot is very Technicolor Wizard of Oz. Because the lower shot is like, I don't know, more modern dystopia, whatever.
Snyderverse? Snyder Sucker Punch?
Yeah, it is kind of Sucker Punch verse. Yeah.
and Aubrey Plaza. Oh, it's
Saturated,
not Aubrey Plaza. It's
kind of.
Vanessa Hudgens.
Very yellow.
Well, or do you think like in the same way that those first episodes of WandaVision kind of almost repeating these patterns, but through these different sitcom archetypes, could we do the same thing here, where it's like they're going down the Witch's Road, but through kind of different versions of the
Keeps
horror
changing.
genre each time, and they're always approaching some house, not getting there, or maybe. We didn't see all 6 of the witches in the coven in either of those shots.
Yeah.
Do they have to split off and each go to their different house on their different branch of the road or something?
Find their truth.
Yeah.
Find their story.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that part of like breaking and like finding the different parts of like time, that's interesting. We have like a shot of the a Brighton version of the shot where they're kind of dressed up in like those like summer camp kind of like horror outfits with the person doing like, what is it, the ring, the exorcism
Yeah.
or exorcist, yeah, with the person flipping over backwards. Yeah, you can see in the back there they've got like the yoga pants and stuff like that.
This also almost makes me wonder if this is Agatha's house in Westview, right?
Ah.
Yeah, kind of like
The
a
attic.
old Victorian type house
Well,
with kind of
and-
stained
yeah.
windows.
And the basement is where she was keeping the
Yeah.
Darkhold.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But how do you think Joe Locke like fits into all this? If he is like a version of Billy, is he a version that was like created in Wanda's hex and like hasn't gone away? Why is he older?
Well,
Is he in a universe that had an incursion and he's lost?
Which is probably wrong completely. What I always kept believing and wanting to believe is that since everyone was mimicked after like the spell, like everyone of Westview was actual real people that are just forced in this living. I always imagine like when Billy and the other brother like dissipated and left,
Right.
they went and found bodies, or kind of like
Some
in that
guy
kind of
got,
way,
like, possessed by a Billy?
a little bit, but his soul and his essence is living as Billy. And so this Billy's like, we see a scene where him and this woman are in this like room that looks kind of like
Yeah, it looks
they're
like
being forced in it.
It looks like a
A ward.
futuristic sci-fi-esque.
Yes.
like,
Yeah. And she's like holding his head.
Yeah.
kinda,
So I
yeah.
think he's coming into his powers, but they're not quite there. And I think it might be Rio that's sending him to go find Agatha to go get to the Witch's Road.
like she's using him.
Yeah, there was
Aubrey
rumor.
Plaza's character is
There was,
using him.
yeah, there was rumor, like he said, that she was the bad guy for a little bit. There's also rumor that she
She
was
comes
married.
off as like the
She always
antagonist in
is.
this trailer, right?
Yeah, and there's like a rumor that they were married and divorced now, or they were partners at one point, her and Agatha.
Yeah, and then on the topic of the soul, finding another body, right? Billy's soul. It could be, I mean, in the comics, the souls are reborn as new people, and that's why people in the chat have been asking how could Wanda's kids be in this? How is it possible? It's because it could be the soul taking the form of somebody else, but why only one and not the other is interesting too, right?
What if, maybe she was only supposed to have one, or that one's for another day. I don't. It's hard. It's mean to say, but everyone was more excited for Wiccan. Everyone was more excited for Wiccan. I think they kind of were like, let's do this.
Well,
Wiccan or Speed.
and he's the
Oh, thank God.
he's the witch one. He's the one with
Yeah.
magic, right? Whereas the other one is more like Uncle Quicksilver, right? Like, yeah.
And it would be fun to see a Speed story eventually along the lines where we get a shortened version of what happened to Wiccan, but for Speed, and maybe like a Young Avengers plot or something else. But we're all excited for Wiccan. Like, I was like, oh yeah, give me my Wiccan. Give me my
Speed's
yay
fine.
Wiccan.
He's doing great in high school. He's the star of the track team.
Yeah, but
doing
Wiccan's
great.
cool, and Wiccan's with Hulkling.
Wiccan's not goth enough for Zach, so
well,
he's not getting any respect.
and
out of it.
I need to see some goth bona fides. Okay, are you listening to Bauhaus, Susie Sue and the Banshees? You know what I mean? Like
Zach,
the
did you go
Cure's
through a
early
goth
stuff.
phase? Is this
Oh,
why you're
yeah,
so
for
hard
sure.
about this?
Love me some good goth stuff. But even like them saying suspicious teen goth, right, makes me think that like will probably Joe Locke's character not present as their true self initially, and it has to be kind of revealed who they really are eventually, or something like that, right? Like what makes them suspicious? Something is not straightforward about that character initially, right?
Yeah, or maybe it's something where this Billy is creating the hex in the similar way that Wanda did and wasn't aware that she was creating
He was,
it.
like,
Like
keeping
if
up
Billy is somehow manifesting himself
I
into
mean,
reality.
if grief made Wanda create the hex originally, and he's now grieving for his lost mom,
Maybe he's grieving for that ice
and
cream
and
he
it
never
would,
got.
and what if in whatever kind of life was that?
The ice
Grieving for
cream.
that ice cream he never got,
May we
even though he was such a good little boy.
You're alive on this plane of existence for only a few days, right before your
Like a Mayflower.
magic mother snaps you out of existence.
Yeah.
You take the time to compose the ice cream song.
Yeah, you make the ice cream song. That's the day you relive. That's my Groundhog Day.
Oh,
The day I sing the ice cream song.
Hey, what does Austin Butler's Elvis sing the ice cream song like?
Oh, Mama, you promised me and Tommy we'd get some ice cream, Mama. I have 2 scoops of vanilla.
so sick. Oh, look at Evan's sick and tired. Evan
Walking
is
back
sick
to
and
Robin's
tired.
at the town. Should have heard that waffle cone saying, let's rock.
Stop it. Stop him right now.
Hey, so Joe Locke's character is described as a familiar.
Okay.
Kind of, spirit that or not a being that could help witches or kind of dependent.
And I remember there's a lot of speculation, didn't really turn into anything, but Agatha had that bunny in WandaVision,
Yeah,
right? That
that's
everybody
true.
was speculating, oh, that's her familiar.
Senior Fluffy?
Yeah, or
Yeah, it was Senior or something, wasn't
Sparky?
No, Sparky was the dog.
Dog.
How dare you? How dare you?
I gotta
Evan?
go. Cut it out, Brian.
But he never. Often, like, these familiars are animals, right?
Right.
They can maybe transform into human type characters sometime, or
Correct.
You know what's interesting? Still, there are 7 characters that are going to be turning into animals. The Salem 7 is supposed to be in this movie, or in the show. And they're the women the women of the Salem witches that Agatha killed. They're coming for revenge. And they all can transform into different animals.
Okay.
So, I don't know if he's supposed to be that kind of familiar. More reason for me believing, like, he's familiar for Rio, and Rio sending him on, like, this trip. Because, again, Jack Schaefer added all of them are selfish and, like, bad people. So I'm like, okay, all of them are bad. Even Joe Locke,
Yeah.
who I don't want to believe.
Yeah.
but is.
Is this gonna be like Reservoir Dogs for witches, where it's just like
Yeah.
you get a bunch of witches together and they don't necessarily work?
and they're constantly, undermining,
Yeah,
out for their own agendas or whatever. I think that's really fun.
trying to
right?
get a piece of that magic.
Yeah.
There's only so much magic to go around.
All right, let's hit some audience questions.
Okay.
I think we've hit a lot in our discussion because we've covered a lot of things. But if you have something that you've wanted us that you think we missed, feel free to @Breakroom NR. Festive Wise asking, how old do you think all the witches will be? Do you think they're all kind of like hundreds of years old, or do you
Hundreds.
think?
We need a couple oldies in here, okay? I want a couple centuries.
So do you think, like, Sasheer Zamata's character is also, like, very old? I mean,
No.
can we have, like, an accurately aged, like, whatever age the actor is, this is a 34-year-old
Well,
witch.
Joe Locke. Right.
And we think that if he is Billy Maximoff, then he's whatever 12 or something like that. Or, I don't know how old is
Joe
he
Locke's
supposed to be?
played 12.
I
I was
like-
like a teenager, right? Like,
Yeah. Ali On's character, which I can't remember which one she is. We saw her in photos as Alice.
Alice.
She's Alice. I could see her being really old only because when we saw her in behind the scenes footage, she was like dressed up as a security guard. And I'm like, what is a witch doing as a
Yeah.
security guard? And then next time we see her, she has the red hair, red black stripes, and she's in like cool like motorcycle jacket. I'm like, oh, what if she's just lying and has been dancing around forever like the Twilight family?
Yeah, I don't want them all to be like super old, right? Because,
I do.
well, I don't know. Is it impressive if you're a witch that's able to live for like a long time, or is it just if you become a witch you live for a long time?
The
and
first
everyone
one
gets
because
to?
they don't have a coven. They have no
Or
one to
these are
help
all the
them.
best of the best.
Well, I don't think they're the best of the best.
Are they
I just
good
think they're
enough to
kind of
live a long time?
You know how what's his name in the Hunger Games hid the entire time? They're like that.
I didn't watch Hunger Games.
Well, you know the one that died, he was a baker, so he was able to.
Festivus?
No, oh my God, someone else in the chat.
Chameleon.
But I think they just hid under
Gregory.
the radar for long enough.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Josh Hutcherson's character. Josh Hutcherson.
Do you think they're all hiding from Baron Mordo? Well, Baron Mordo playing a role in this?
People for the
Black
ethical-
Dragonfly was asking that. Do you think we see Mordo in this?
Yeah, who are some of the Marvel characters that could? Now, every time one of these Marvel shows comes along, we come up with a laundry list of cameos that don't happen. But there's a lot of magic practicing characters that have already been established or we think are coming soon. I mean, even your Man-Things.
Yeah, Joycey
and
Ladd in the chat just
Your
asked.
Elsa Bloodstones,
Yeah.
right? Do we see
Because there
some-
are one of the characters in this has like connections to like Man-Thing in the comics.
Yeah, so Sasheer Zamata's character. Now, the actor has already said that like her character is very different than the comic book, but she's named after a comic book character that actually is like part of a cult of Atlantis worshipping, like 1,000-year-old cult of magicians that are closely aligned because they're kind of like headquartered in the Everglades near Man-Thing, kind of a thing. But that character's also overlapped with Ghost Rider and a lot of other characters like that. Do we think we see anything like
I don't think
that?
they want to bring in like a bunch of other MCU characters, especially like big. You're not gonna get like, I don't think they'll have like Doctor Strange or
I think-
like Clea show up or something like that. That
If
would
they
be nuts.
do, that'll be like the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
And it'll be Doctor Strange and them replacing Wanda with Agatha for the rest of the MCU.
Reminder, we were just talking about this because like projections for Deadpool and Wolverine's opening weekend came out. Reminder, I think people often forget, Multiverse of Madness made so much money.
Did very well.
Multiverse of Madness, after the Avengers film, is the most lucrative Marvel, or besides Spider-Man movies and Avengers movies, it's the most lucrative Marvel movie they've ever made. So like, we're gonna get, and maybe, okay, besides these 11 different movies, it's number 12. Yeah, John's absolutely right, besides Black Panther. But like, they're gonna do another Doctor Strange movie.
They're not gonna do it for a minute.
Yeah.
They're gonna do a Doctor Strange 3
As
for
I
a
think Doctor
minute.
Strange
Not
is
until
going to
after.
be a big. He's like the leader of the Avengers.
And that's gonna come, and what they're gonna do is that's gonna come out in like 2027. That's gonna come out so far from now. And 2027 is not that far. It's gonna come out in 2028. And what they're gonna do is it's gonna be treated like Black Widow was, and it's gonna be like, oh, this takes place after
In between
Multiverse
this
of
and
Madness,
that, and-
but
yeah.
not after Secret Wars.
Also, I just want to say, we said at the top of this that this was kind of a surprise trailer drop because, like, you know, we're already a week into July. End of July, we get San Diego Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
A week and a half later, we get D23, right? We're
my
anticipating
God.
big Marvel, Disney announcements at both of those events. So, like, why drop this now? That makes me even more excited for Comic-Con and D23. Feels like they didn't want this to get drowned out by the huge news at those two events. Because this show is not coming out till September, right? So quite a ways out still. I guess not quite a wait. That's only a couple months. Never mind. But, like, what do you think the timing of this release for this trailer means?
I think you're right in that they probably want to put out some stuff at Comic-Con that they don't want the show to get overwhelmed with that. I think, like, you know, Brave New World, something around like Captain
Maybe they want to keep
Brave
the
New
focus
World.
on movies at
Yeah.
Comic-Con and have shows.
I think it's still kind of right time. I mean, it's July. It's July.
Yeah, we're almost-
Next
Especially if
month
they
is
want
August.
to show a clip
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
Comic-Con,
and
right?
maybe we get a
the
whole other.
teaser out of the way.
Maybe we get a second trailer.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing is, like, we'll get, like, next month will be August, and then it'll be 1 month until the show comes. We're going to get another trailer.
Yeah.
I think they're also accounting for Deadpool coming out at the end of July. So all of August will probably be Deadpool and Wolverine. And then September, reminder, Agatha's coming. Here's the second trailer.
I know this is the streaming series, but do we think we see this trailer on the big screen for Deadpool Wolverine? Is there precedent for that? Have we ever seen a Disney
Not
Plus?
a Disney Plus TV show.
No.
No, yeah.
Do we think?
We get commercials before the trailers, though, of it. You know,
Yeah.
behind the scenes feature.
Yeah,
They
that's
do
true.
those a lot.
In between M&M's commercials and like
Okay.
Ford commercials.
Maria
and whatever.
Menounos. Maria
is on
Menounos.
set
Maria
right
Menounos.
now.
Giving me the
guys.
trivia that I knew every answer to.
She's gonna be like, Kathryn Hahn, I need you to name these famous witches from some movies coming up right now. She got a house dropped on her. The Wicked Witch of the East. Sorry, get that one
You
wrong.
make me so mad. You make me disgusted.
Okay, this next witch had quite a fling with Jack Nicholson.
You're doing the Glick, the Martin Short Glick.
I like the witches.
Eating the donut.
Tell me, why do I care about you? I watched Jiminy Glick all day.
So good.
By the way, the full San Diego Comic-Con schedule, as far as the panels, the big Hall H panels, we're anticipating those getting announced this week. We're anticipating a big Marvel panel, probably a big Lucasfilm that might be a part of
A big Amazon panel, it sounds
big.
like.
Amazon's throwing a
taking
huge
over
party.
Friday.
You might see some more Boys, Invincible, Rings of Power. They're doing a big Rings of Power kind of premiere screening thing there because that is also coming out in September, October.
God damn.
Yes, it's going to be a busy fall. And presumably, though we haven't heard anything yet, DC. James Gunn's going to get up there as his first kind of public speech, maybe.
I think he might be skipping, but he's been sending a lot of video messages to these big, conferences and stuff. So even if he has to skip, he'll be like, "Hey, here's a little look at what we've
you
been
know
working
what?
on."
Bring me Peacemaker. Just bring Peacemaker out, John Cena. He just left WWE. He
Yeah,
retired.
announced his retirement.
No,
well,
he
he's
didn't
got a couple
leave.
matches
He's got
left.
3 more
He's
premium
always
live events that he's
leaving.
doing.
Also, James Gunn, that's fine if you want to skip San Diego. Come on the break room.
Oh,
Come on
yeah.
the break room.
Come on the break room.
Simu, come on the break room.
Simu, bring James. Come on the break room.
Don't know that. I, don't know how much you guys
they'll
know.
put out like a Creature Commandos trailer.
Yes.
Comic-Con,
Yeah.
you
I
think?
think-
Well, that shows this year, right?
Well, I think it's
December?
January,
Oh, January,
right?
yeah.
December.
Could you imagine if they gave us like a teaser for Superman? They were like, "Here's what we shot so far." That'd be crazy.
Here's some dailies from Superman. That'd be cool.
Some Daily Planets.
Wait, go to me. Go to me really quick. Go to me. Yeah.
Ah! We got
Damn.
on 4th of July, Anthony Mackie. We got an image of Anthony Mackie in the Captain America suit. Do we have that
suit,
image?
right?
That's
New
dirty
suit.
of Marvel to drop that and then like a day after be like, wait, here's Agatha.
But it was, I think it
can
was a
show
suit
it.
we saw in like background
Yeah.
or like set photos, but it was like a clearer shot of it. Though it was still kind of a behind the scenes photo because you could see the cameraman.
And it's definitely not what he's wearing at the end of Falcon and Winter
No,
Soldier.
it reminds me of like in the
Civil
Winter
War?
Soldier.
Oh, yeah.
Captain America, the Winter Soldier, when he had like kind of a darker suit, like a more
Yeah.
muted blue,
Who made
gray,
his suit?
red. Huh?
Who made his suit?
I think Calvin Klein.
Fuck God.
Calvin
Hugo
Klein
Boss.
made his suit.
Uh,
Do you
well,
mean
and
like
he's got-
who in the MC? Like
Do
Shield
we
made
know?
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
did Shield make it?
Yeah,
Or
he's
was
a
it
government
Shield?
employee basically.
And it's kind of got the 3/4 sleeve
Yeah.
that we've seen on some of the Captain America. I feel like some of Steve's like Infinity War looks were kind of like a 3/4 sleeve.
After She-Hulk, now we have to ask who was the designer
was the
because now
designer,
there's two
right?
versions. There's Daredevil's designer and there's this one.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, Steve Rogers, he's a government employee at the time, so that's definitely like a government issue suit.
I could see the new Anthony Mackie's Captain America going to the guy from She-Hulk and absolutely getting his threads cut there.
Yeah, the Edna Mode of the MCU.
Yeah. What was his name? I can't remember his name. But I didn't
Oh yeah, he was on trial, right? For
Yeah.
was it Frogman? He didn't give him the right suit. So hey, do we get a trailer for Captain America: Brave New World?
I think they'll put out
Comic-Con?
a trailer, but either between Comic-Con and D23.
One
I
of,
would think
at
they
one
would
of those
put out a
events we get our trailer.
Because I don't know what else they can put out. They
Blade?
even started filming Fantastic Four. They have Thunderbolt stuff they could
What
put
if
out.
what if they just drop the
Entirety of Blade.
Yeah,
thing
like
is-
all 90 minutes of Blade. They just
you-
put it out at
They
Comic-Con.
bought what they did. They bought Wile E. Coyote versus Acme, and then they put Blade into that movie. Basically,
I'm okay with it still.
anything that was the Coyote, they just changed it to Blade.
It would be kind of dirty, but how such a diabolical way of controlling the narrative if they did bring out Mahershala Ali come back out again at San Diego Comic-Con and talk more about how Blade's doing fine.
Yeah.
I would be like, that is a crazy
I heard
way
he's
to
gonna have
control
his
the
own
narrative.
panel, Mahershala Ali. He's gonna charge people $5 to go in. He's gonna fund the movie himself.
Oh my
They're gonna
baby.
come in. He's
Now-
gonna give the pitch.
Only
Now
$5.
you get to the front of the line.
Yeah.
It's an empty room with a sword sitting on a shelf.
Okay.
You pick up the sword and then a voice says to you,
He says, "Hey, you want to pay for this movie?"
you know that famous quote from the end of Eternals.
Blade, is that you?
Blade? That would be a good booth to set up. Mahershala Ali whispers something to you off screen.
That poor man.
As
That
Blade.
poor man.
got a
I
beautiful
would
voice.
spend so much money for horrible things.
Hey, do you validate parking at the university?
We will have a whole other episode of the Breakroom probably where we kind of do our San Diego Comic-Con preview,
Yeah.
D23. And obviously we're going to have a live stream the day. Jessica and Eric are going to be down in San Diego covering everything that's happening. They'll be on the ground with their own eyeballs, seeing all the good stuff. We'll be here in studio. Me, probably Brandon, probably some other folks you recognize, reacting to it in real time.
Hank, no one said you had to like what we're doing.
The dog is gagging as I say all of that. Now, Fantastic Four starts shooting like the next day.
Yeah.
Like literally the week after Comic-Con is the first day of shooting for Fantastic Four. Do we think we see the cast all together on stage?
Whoo, doggy.
I doubt it, because they're probably shooting not here.
Yeah, they probably roll out.
Probably
I think
England,
they're gonna
yeah.
bring out like Captain America cast, Thunderbolts cast,
Also,
like
great-
those kind of cast.
Oh,
members,
and
yeah.
they should bring out all the Thunderbolts. I need some updates that aren't Florence Pugh's Instagram. But I was gonna
It was
say
real to me.
it
It
was
was real to me.
stop a great time to start your Fantastic Four is when all the nerds, all the press nerds, everybody is in San Diego. Go as far as you can away. No one's coming to that set to take shots. And like all I've been seeing of every movie, every show are set photos, and they are like, please stop taking photos of the sets. And I'm like, no. Never.
No.
You gotta go to a weird field in Northern Ireland, like they shoot all that House of the Dragon. That's why you don't see any set photos of that show.
It's just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not walking that far.
Yeah, I know. I'm not walking all the way to.
I mean, the
Northern
trick is you got to put your show on the CW. That way, no one takes set photos and no one watches the show once it comes out.
Oh my god.
That's the best way to keep the show.
I watched season 1 of Riverdale. I watched season 1 of Riverdale, and I am kind of ashamed. But
That's great. Come on the show, Cast of Riverdale.
I think they all hate each other now.
Oh.
We can't do that. That's gossip for another day.
Ooh, I like that. Anything else we need to cover, Evan?
No, that's it.
Okay. Coming up on the channel this week, Wednesday, there'll be an Acolyte after show.
Yeah,
Is
we'll
that
have and we'll be simulcasting live on the Breakroom YouTube as well as the Breakroom Twitter. Wednesday morning after the Acolyte, episode 7, penultimate episode.
Ooh, maybe a big cliffhanger episode.
Maybe.
And then Boys After
We'll
Show.
have Boys After Show this week for episode 7 of season 4 of The Boys. That's also happening this week. Yeah.
And we hope next Monday another House of the Dragon after show.
I mean, we'll have one. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Why is it we hope? Are we fighting George R. R. Martin?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I can take him. I can take him. One push, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I don't
Hey,
know. You don't think he's got like good stability?
No, not in those legs. Have you seen his little legs? he has the Mike Wazowski body. Also, that's coming from my mom. My mom is still angry about that book. My mom will never let. She doesn't watch House of the Dragon. She refuses to support anything. She was like, Elden Ring, turn it off. She was like, don't let
Elden
me.
Ring?
Didn't he like write a little bit of Elden Ring?
I don't know.
Or it's like very loosely. He said he did. I don't know. Either way, my mom
The George
refuses.
R. R. Martin.
You're right.
Elden Ring is Elden Ring. She had 2 R's.
Brian, cut that out, please. Thanks so much.
Brian, come
Oh,
on.
mama.
Oh, mama, that was a stinker.
Oh,
no.
no.
Okay,
Oh,
thank
no.
you so much for watching the Break Room today. Look forward to more. We'll have a breakdown of the Agatha All Along trailer on the new Rockstars channel tomorrow, probably, depending on when you're watching this. Might already be up. Eric Voss is working on that as we speak. And tune in the rest of this week on the Break Room and new Rockstars for all the great content we've got coming out. Yeah?
August 17th is Austin Butler's birthday, so for the break room, we'll do only that.
Okay.
Let's go.
like
Whole
that.
show in Elvis voice.
Jess, when is Brandon's birthday?
It's August 12th.
Ooh, good job.
What is my?
It's the same day as my cat's.
What is my birthday?
Shut up.
It's August 17th, and
it?
that's not a lie.
No, you are Austin
Me,
Butler.
me, Phoebe Bridgers, and Austin Butler. We're all chilling.
You're on the episode that day, Evan. Evan, you're on the episode
We gotta,
that
yeah,
day.
we gotta triangulate here a Brandon, Evan, Austin birthday swirl. You know what I mean?
I can't wait for Austin Butler to sing Evan happy birthday.
What voice is he singing it in?
His own voice.
Oh, which is
I will have to wait and hear it.
okay. Come on the show, Austin Butler.
Well,
I'll
no,
promote.
no,
Hey, I paid. I watched Bike Riders in a movie theater.
How was it?
It was good. I liked it. So did Evan.
You liked it? Jodie Comer's accent wasn't so crazy?
Yeah, it was good.
I liked it. Come on the show, Austin. We both. Hey, I gave your movie $16. You owe me.
You can give me 5 minutes.
Okay, well, that concludes the break room for today. Anything else we need to shout out, Evan?
We didn't do a formal YouTube outro into a Twitch outro, so maybe say thanks for watching, and we'll do some Twitch stuff. But
Okay. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment for the algorithm. Why not? And most importantly, have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Woo!